Martina 6-3, 6-2. And her toughest match to date, Rafaela Reggi, won the first set 4-6 and then was defeated 6-2, 6-3 in a very tough match for Martina.
She's in the midst of an 18-match winning streak. She's lost only once this year, 23-1 on the year, beaten by Chris Evert in the semis of the Australian, and Manuela Maleeva, her semifinal opponent.
And she's looking very happy these days. In her first round match, a South African, Karen Schimper, double bagel. They have those in Bulgaria. Sandra Cecchini, a very quick Italian, but 1-1. Then Lori McNeil, and Manuela yesterday trailed McNeil 5-2 in the first set. Came back and won it in a breaker, 7 points to 2, and that was disappointing to McNeil fans, Joanne.
Well, it was, but Lori played very tentatively yesterday, and Manuela does what she does best. She's a counterpuncher, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and she just waited until Lori made the mistake, and Lori was so kind of wishy-washy on her ground strokes that she was actually looking to see if the ball bounced in and then ran to the net, and against Manuela, it's a step too late.
Dana Locanto is the umpire.
And Maleeva to serve this semifinal match.
Here's my theory, Joanne. 10 years ago, you beat Navratilova. Either you said she's nothing, but here's what I think really happened. She said, my God, I've got to do something, and she won Wimbledon for the first time that year.
Thank you, Bud. I spurred her on.
The only clay court match you ever won, isn't it?
No, I won a couple others.
Oh, you were in the semis that year.
Double fault, 15-all. The boxing analogy is a good one. The counterpuncher Maleeva against Navratilova, who will attack. Now Maleeva visits the net, and Navratilova passes her.
Here's Martina hitting this forehand, and you notice how she gets back ready. She's ready for the next shot. She passed Maleeva on that, but she's always ready for the next shot.
A double break point for Navratilova.
Well, Manuela has never beaten Martina in 3 starts. So rising above that hurdle is always difficult.
And the opening game to Martina Navratilova as she breaks Maleeva to start this semifinal. In the semis of the Australian to Evert. Maleeva has lost only 2 of her 15 matches this year.
And she won a tournament in Kansas, which was her 10th career victory.
You notice there's a lot of errors in this match, and it could be change your rackets. The other racket I showed earlier in the show has a lot more power.
Mishit, but made it.
And the thicker racket she used in her match yesterday is more lively. This racket you can swing harder with because it's deader. But it's pretty tough going from one racket to the other because the feel is really different between the two.
Martina is playing the way she should have played yesterday in that long, drawn-out match against Raffaella Reggi. Martina was not attacking as she should.
And a double fault for Martina. It's a 30-all.
Well, I think yesterday Martina got a little sloppy because she'd approach on balls that would land almost just a little past the service line, and she'd come running in and expect Rafi to crumble under the pressure.
So a break point for Maleeva.
So I talked with Tim Gullickson this morning. He said Martina's got to be much more patient and pick and choose her spots to come in. She just can't junk the ball over there and expect somebody to hit it in the net on a passing shot.
Big serve. Tim Gullickson, part of the Gully Twins from Wisconsin, signed on with Team Navratilova at the start of 1988.
Tim charts every single point.
He is the younger of the two twins by a couple of minutes.
A couple of break chances lost by Maleeva. Well, it's been an interesting history in terms of the coaches of Navratilova. Mike Estep, Renee Richards, Virginia Wade.
Oh, Virginia was around a couple of days, it seems.
She was. It seemed like a couple of days.
Navratilova handled a bad bounce and wins the point. And that's a point away from 2-all.
Randy Crawford was in there, too, last season as a coach for Martina.
Tim Gullickson made a good point to us the other night that in this sport, the coach so often gets no credit for success, but is quick to be fired when a player doesn't do well. There's no buffer as it is in a team sport.
Well, they get fired there, too, Dick.
But they also get to take a bow now and then.
Yeah. Well, there are plenty of coaches in tennis who take their own bows, though.
Now, that's the kind of play that Reggi offered against Navratilova yesterday.
And that's really Manuela's game. There's her husband, Francois Franier.
Just long.
You notice the different names in Bulgaria. They usually keep their own names, and her mother's name is Berberian.
Right.
Yulia Berberian. In fact, they take their middle name is their father's Christian name. So you may change your last name, but you don't change your father.
Oh! Woo.
And here's a little changeup by Manuela Maleeva. She comes in, the ball's a little bit short, but look at this. She dives for it, gets a nice angle on that ball.
It's nice to see her attacking a little more.
Well, it seems her specialty is a little off today. It's getting the ball back in play, not making any mistakes. But, you know, whenever you play a top player, you get nervous. And so it might take her a few more games, and hopefully she won't get too far behind.
Really a high toss, Joanne, Maleeva uses.
She does really toss it up into the trees.
Martina Navratilova, what she does best.
And chip and charge is the name of the game. Look at those little feet moving. She keeps moving in towards the net. And that point was so easy. Yesterday, she did not do enough of that.
Navratilova not happy with herself. That was not a good drop.
Watch Manuela's toss go out of the picture, and she lets it drop. You notice she's double faulted once, and also she's missed her serve quite a few times, her first serve quite a few times. So, you know, that high toss sometimes is not that great.
Oh, she got the line.
Yes, indeed. For another break point.
Manuela's in this point, but she gets an unlucky break on this ball. It hits the line and skids and just puts a little more oomph on the ball. She can't get to it. It's tough when you play the top seed and you get the bad breaks, too.
Navratilova, 2 break chances to go up 3-love in this first set. But she sends that last forehand long, and Maleeva, the 21-year-old from Sofia, Bulgaria, still with a chance this second service game for.
Ooh.
But it appears that Maleeva's improved her service power.
Well, she's got some service power, but, you know, it hits a little thing on the court and really helps it along a little bit, and it's short. And once Manuela gets a short ball, she comes hustling in there, makes the play. Manuela's first serve percentage is only 62%, but Martina's is only 60%.
Just long.
Some whistles of disapproval on that call.
Manuela doesn't like that call.
I think Martina thought it hit the line.
Pete Conklin at the baseline. And he's going to inspect.
Ah. Here's the ball.
The point is replayed, and that is at Martina's request. She didn't exactly give the point away, but she gave Conklin every opportunity to correct himself. Reggie gave her a point yesterday in a similar situation.
You notice there are different ways to pass people. On this particular shot, Manuela hits a good approach shot, cross court to Martina's backhand, but instead of going for a big topspin, she takes the pace off of it This is a very difficult volley from Maleeva. She puts it in the bottom of the net.
Ooh.
Just wide. And another break chance for Navratilova. For a third of this game. That won't do it. Navratilova leads 3-love. Opening set semifinals of the 16th Family Circle Cup. The pattern of the previous three between Navratilova and Maleeva. Martina beat her at Wimbledon, 6-3, 6-2, and 84. Then indoors in Washington, 3-2 in 85, and on grass at Eastbourne in 85, 6-1, 6-2. And she leads 3-love in this opening set today.
But maybe she has a chance because it's on clay, her best surface.
Maleeva's.
Yes.
Well, I like the way she's playing a little more daringly, and that may be the influence of her new coach and husband, Francois Franier. He's a Swiss, she Bulgarian, of course. They communicate in English. Had a home-and-home wedding. One in his hometown, Zurich, and another in hers, Sofia.
Terrific save by Navratilova in the middle of that point.
A terrific save here. She hits it off the frame. Watch her head. She's still watching the ball, staying in the point. She chips up a lob here, and you notice, I think this is the racket. She hits it off the frame again. And that's you know, she needs a little bit more time to get used to her racket. It's tough when you change from a quarterfinal to a semifinal match. Get a new racket out.
Just long to love 30. I guess that would be, as we have baseball, Major League Baseball to follow, that you're used to using a thin handle and a heavy-ended bat and a 33-ounce. All of a sudden, you switch to a new style.
Well, Martina has the crowd in a good humor in that last game in requesting a call against herself. Didn't hurt her.
Whoa, right in.
Outside in by Maleeva to catch the corner to low 40.
And this is Manuela's best shot, her forehand. And she hooks that ball out into the alley, and then it curls around, drops in the court. That's what topspin will do for you.
Maleeva down 2 breaks in this opening set, a chance to get one of them back.
And Martina says, take that, Manuela. You notice how she hits on the outside edge of the ball and it curves back into the court. Manuela didn't even cover that. She knew she was lost.
So Martina digs out of love 40. It's deuce.
She may have dug out, but Manuela helped her a lot there. Martina's hitting short balls, and Manuela, she's so nervous. She's missing them. There we go.
Maleeva's 4th break chance in this game.
What a good hook serve.
Now Manuela is shaking the butterflies out here because she had to make a great shot. She gets racket back early. She has a choice of down the line or cross-court, and she pinpoints that ball. And that's the disadvantage of a two-handed backhand. Anybody with a one-handed, you can extend a lot further. With a two-hand, you have to be in pretty good position all the time.
Good return, and Maleeva has her 6th break point of this game. You heard Martina say short on her serve, not happy with the depth. She had the open court, but missed on the forehand. So Maleeva gets one of those breaks back, and now is serving at 1-3. A reminder after our tennis from Steve Pine's Plantation Center Court, the Stan Smith Center Court. It's the Major League Game of the Week. Some of you will see Toronto against the defending baseball champions from Minnesota. Others, the Mets and the Phillies. So stay with us here on NBC, home of the '88 Summer Olympics.
That's a very nice monument, not memorial, for Stan Smith beside this court. He's the tennis director down here and has, of course, taken over the new job as coaching director of the U.S. Tennis Association. And this court is named for him.
His wife been down here for a long time, just what, shortly after he won Wimbledon, wasn't it?
That's right, he won in '72. And there's also a monument to Chris Evert, who won this tournament 8 times. Her footprints in concrete. Jack Jones, the man who started this tournament, put them there last year. We hope she's watching. She's skiing in Aspen, Dick, with her fiancé, Andy Mill.
Nice deep forehand.
There's rumors floating around, Bud, that for the 20th anniversary, they're going to float a pair of your pants up on one of the flag staffs as a tribute to your contributions to this championship.
Well, I don't know what the rights fee will be.
Now, you notice there are a lot of mistakes going on in this match. And I can't help thinking it's not, her racket, this racket is not different from, she went from Yonex to Dunlop. Different shape. But the weight and the feel were the same. The feel from her other racket, which was a profile, the thick one, is totally different. And she is missing a lot of easy balls.
Oh, what a good play. Manuela Maleeva scrapping the 40-30.
And obviously, she's over these butterflies because her feet are working fine. And look at that get.
Huge point for Manuela now. She's down 3-love.
And she needs her first serve.
She can be right back in this match by winning this point.
She got the line. Martina said it was wide, and I think Martina has a good argument.
I do, too. Chris Boland is coming out to look at the line. I felt the ball was wide. We're right on that line, and so does Chris. She reverses herself.
So Maleeva will serve again at 40-30. No, the call is deuce.
No, if the ball is clearly out, the point, there's no need to replay that point.
All right, so it is deuce.
Plus, it wasn't a ball that was like close to a second bounce or anything like that. The point was over on that one.
So the break chance for Navratilova as this game turns from a chance Maleeva to go to 2-3, and now Martina point away from 4-1. Breaking Maleeva in her first 2 service games.
You notice Maleeva is constantly playing Martina's backhand. And you've got to say that's the weaker side. But it's not that weak in a way that if she hits a short forehand, Martina, who has a great slice, she can put it anywhere. She chips and comes in, so she turns it into an aggressive shot. So Maleeva's got to keep that ball deep.
Yeah, there's no better overhead in the women's game than Navratilova. How rarely she misses a chance on that shot.
And Manuela Maleeva misses her first serve, and guess what? She chips it right into the corner and comes in. She goes back for this overhead. She really took her time.
Just wide, and Maleeva again unable to hold serve, falls behind 4-1. South Carolina, Françoise Durr, and behind her, Andrea Jaeger. Good to see her here at Hilton Head.
1982 finalist to Martina.
Maleeva picking up some momentum here in this opening set.
And sometimes people wonder how Martina gets past. Well, look at how short that approach is. She hits to Maleeva's strength, and she passes her up the line. It's as simple as that, Bud. You could do it.
I could get past her. You're absolutely right. And I have been. Several times by Françoise Durr. I played her once on Crash. She murdered me.
She was part of that original quartet of pros, women pros. Was she not, Frankie Durr?
20th anniversary of the first female pros signed by George McCall. Billie Jean King, Rosie Gonzalez, Ann Jones, and Françoise Durr.
What strides in 20 years.
There's Françoise. She had science fiction strokes. Wow, were they strange, but she was a killer. She won the French championship in 1967.
Oh, what an angle. And Martina uses everything. A little slice, a little top spin. She's just standing back there now. She gets her wrist cocked. And on that shot, she hits that angled forehand. That was some kind of shot.
Martina, big point here. She's at 4-3, 40-30.
Yesterday, on one of the bigger points of the match against Reggie, she made a diving headlong volley to save the point.
Sky hook into the net.
But also in the first set against Reggie, she was 30-40 at 2-3 and 30-40 on her serve at 3-4, and she double faulted both times. So, you know, she can get nervous the same as anybody sitting in the stands.
Well, she's ragged. There's no denying that.
But with Chris Everett out on the slopes of Colorado and Steffi Graf not in this championship to defend her title, Martina picking this spot as a good tune-up for the clay tournaments ahead in Europe.
She's getting all the tuning she wants right here from Manuela Maleeva.
Point away from 4-all.
Nope.
And there it is. It is a new match at 4-all.
Well, until this tournament, Martina really hadn't had much of a challenge. In fact, at the Virginia Slims of California, Martina, in the whole tournament, only lost 14 games. That's not much of a challenge. In fact, this year, she only won 3 sets one time to Barbara Potter.
She knows she needs work because she took a late wild card entry into the Women's International Tennis Association Championships that start Monday at Amelia Island. She wasn't intending to play that event.
Currently number 2 in the world behind Steffi Graf, Navratilova. Maleeva's ranked 6th.
Martina's just waiting for the right ball, and Maleeva gives it to her in the next one. Short, she comes in, a little touch volley here that drops over the net.
Gee.
Woo! There's a little touch volley back.
Hey, isn't this great? You don't generally get this at Hilton Head.
No, they're pretty quiet here.
You generally hear the birds, but I like it.
Go Martina, and answer back, go Manuela.
Oh.
So at 4-all in this opening set, Martina with 2 break chances at 15-40. And at the net, typical Navratilova, she's won just 50% of her approaches, but much more active. There's a careless backhand.
The difference is Manuela only comes in when she's forced to, and Martina really hits a short ball, and there's no way she can backpedal back to the baseline. That's why she goes into the net.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
So Maleeva erases 2 break points against.
And this was a very smart play by Manuela Maleeva, because the last 2 balls she tried to pass Martina, she went cross-court. This time she goes up the line. Martina was covering the cross-court.
Manuela Maleeva, a point away from leading for the first time in this match. She lost her first 2 service games, fell behind 2 breaks at 3-love, but has rallied. And now a chance to move ahead 5-4. And so it is. Serving now to stay in this opening set after leading by 2 breaks at 3-love.
A lot of relatives here. I just saw Manuela's grandfather, Mike Berberian, who lives in Palm Coast, Florida. Came here with his wife, Tina, from Bulgaria. Oh, gee.
Just wide.
30.
Down 4-1 to 5-4 Maleeva.
That bounce.
You know what's interesting is Manuela Maleeva, she really loves clay. And if you listen to her footwork, you kind of hear like little tiny steps. Then right before she hits, there's like that nice sound of her feet moving on the clay. It's really great to listen to a good clay court player. A lot of unforced errors by Martina.
And she's 2 points from losing the set.
You know, that was not a bad shot by Manuela, because you could tell she went for that ball. She wasn't just nervous and pushing it down the line. It really thunked into the net.
Navratilova returning to this championship after a 5-week rest away from tournament play, and that may be part of this story. She entered yesterday's match, quarterfinals, against Rafaela Reggi, having won 28 consecutive sets. And Reggi took the first set and seemed to be in total command in the first set today at 3-love, up 2 breaks, and now suddenly 2 points from defeat in the first set.
Ooh.
Oh,
buggy whip.
Once again, these are the advantages of topspin, being able to keep the ball low and in the court. She goes under the ball. Look at that. She whips it up, and it just drops in for a winner.
The old buggy whip that John Newcomb did so well.
cautious rally at best.
She's mad at herself on that one. She really worked that point around well, and to just make a mental error.
On a set point. Woo.
She mishits this one because Maleeva's ticks the top of the net, but then Maleeva gets a good lob up here, ticks off the top of her racket there, and sets up for Maleeva. She belts it down the line. Martina doesn't have a very good shot at that one.
So the second set point for Maleeva. There's a great champion's
And Maleeva,
answer.
look at her driving her off the court, and once again she goes there and look, it's pure wrist. Martina is not in that good position. Ball goes right by her and drops in for a winner. Nice shot.
Paints it right against the sideline. Martina Navratilova. Two set points against. Survives the 10th game, and we're even again at 5-all. What a forehand to save the set.
That's champion. Champion wins when playing even scratchily. But she's a long way from winning right here.
Maleeva, finalist here last year when she lost in 3 sets to Steffi Graf. Was a quarterfinalist at the French. Made the 4th round of the U.S. and the Australian in '87. On the line.
Whoa, what a liner.
Martina examining the line.
That looked good from our angle, Bud.
Yeah. Arnie Burdick is coming out. However, the linesman.
She was really very confident on this forehand. This wasn't being forced to the net. She was going to go into the net.
So Arnie confirms.
Ooh. And on that one, instead of the slice which she'd used before against Maleeva, she went for her topspin.
You won't get that point against Navratilova when she's sharp, though. That's one that she had already put in the bank. So 5-all, 30-all, opening set semifinals.
Manuela didn't like that call.
No, well, she got one call on that line from Arnie Burdick, and she didn't get the other. And I think he was right on both of them. And I think she's taking a little something off her first serve, Joanne, to make sure she gets it in. Ooh.
But you're right about her taking something off her serve. And she has to because, but I played a lot of good players, and when your first serve doesn't work, you're back there, and your second serve, if it's not that deep, there is a feeling you get in your stomach and leg that it's pure fear, especially if someone approaches off of it all the time.
It's a feeling Dick and I get whenever we play.
When I put on my shorts, I get ready to play. I get that. Maleeva holds. When we return, Navratilova, the #1 seed, serving to stay in this first set. Techniques and how Martina with a shorter toss. And Maleeva, she visits the birds with hers.
That is some kind of toss by Maleeva. Perfect example of someone who changed their serve, who had that kind of toss, was Lendl. His toss was out of the stadium.
The importance of that second, well, the first serve, and Maleeva, 18% of the points won off her second serve. Martina normally wins over 70% of her first service points, under 50% today.
Oh, beautiful.
Maleeva's hooked that forehand for several winners in this set.
And the thing is, she sets it up because she does go there more than down the line, but she'll go up the line, and so she keeps Martina honest. If you pass the same direction every time, when Martina or anyone comes into net, they're ready for it.
Two points from the set, Maleeva. After a terrible start. Down 2 breaks at love 3.
Was a difficult volley because Martina was late in starting. She saw the effect of her serve and decided, I'll go in.
Well, that's just being not very confident in what's going to happen on your strokes. Oh!
But when she's needed the big shot in this set, she has delivered.
She certainly has. And the thing is, maybe she's not very confident, but she has the athletic talent to cover up for it. Look at that. She was really out of position, and once again, she used that powerful wrist. Winner. And this is what we call mixing it up, because when Martina gets the short ball to come in, look what Manuela does. Instead of going cross court,
down the line for a winner.
Her 11th forehand winner of this set.
You know, Martina, when she feels stressed, does not hit a topspin backhand. She just slicing the backhand, slicing the backhand.
Martina always on the lookout for a short ball. She does it, you know, she stumbles a little bit there, but watch this overhead. She gets back quickly into the open court.
And that one, if it clears the net, would have sent this first set into a tiebreak. Instead, we're back to deuce, 5-6. The third set point for Manuela Maleeva.
A very tough point here for Martina. This is not an easy shot, this delicate little drop volley. She's pretty psyched about that one.
Navratilova a point away from 6-all. First set.
First serve.
It's an overrule by Dana Locanto,
Well, actually,
the umpire.
Manuela in the back looked up to the umpire and said, you know, kind of waved, ball was on the line.
So it sounded like a tape ball. It's first serve.
It was a fight, but Navratilova has forced the tiebreak.
And what Manuela does, and it didn't do in this point, was take advantage of the lob. She hit a beautiful lob in the corner, went over Martina's head. Martina makes a great get, and what happens? They restart the point. She lets Martina back in.
Well, it was on this court that Maleeva played the tiebreaker of her life. Third set a year ago, semifinals against Chris Evert, and she won it 7 points to 5.
Navratilova takes 2 points at the net. Martina tough in the tie break, as one might well imagine. This is the 187th time in her career in the tie break, and she's won well more than half. 126 of those fell to Navratilova. Maleeva not bad this year herself.
Oh, what a forehand. Manuela Maleeva really has got to hang in here, and she does just that. She just belts this ball down the line, and she is coming in behind that ball. She's not staying at the baseline.
Exchange ends with Navratilova leading 4 points to 2 and using that big hook serve in the ad court.
And she's played serve and volley on every one of her serving points. She reminds me of John Newcomb, who was such a master of playing the tiebreaker. And he said, when you get into the breaker, you go for everything. You don't sit back and wait.
And she may have been nervous earlier, but not now. She's got it. She knows where she plays the best.
For Maleeva, she serves 3 points to 4.
This is what you call nerves of steel, because in the tiebreaker, when you're down a break, to hit a drop shot like that, whew, she's got it in her to win this breaker.
Martina sneaks and gets the point.
Once Manuela didn't get around to hit that forehand, Martina snuck in, nailed it on the line.
Both of Maleeva's service points won by Navratilova, who sits on several set points, her first of the match. Just off the line.
So, Hal Davis confirms his call. He trotted to the line to look.
Well, you know, he might as well trot to the line. When the linesmen don't come out and check their mark, it's really upsetting to the players. And so far, no problems, because they've gotten out of their chairs and gone over there.
Woo!
Whoa,
Off the baseline. So Maleeva answers Navratilova by taking 2 service points.
Was Martina cautious there by not playing serve and volley?
Looked a little cautious, but
Yeah. So she starts out playing serve and volley, going full speed, and she stands back and watches the ball bounce off the baseline.
well, she actually probably relaxed, and she was up 2 breaks.
Third set point for Navratilova. Maleeva's had 3.
Oh, baby.
6 points all. play.
Well, how could you help not be? Because she has really hung in there. And when the time, you know, a few big points there, she could have choked. Nobody would have blamed her. But instead, she hung in and made some great shots.
I wonder if that's ever happened before. Navratilova with 2 set points on her serve in a tiebreaker loses them both. I doubt it.
Wide, and now it's the 4th set point for Maleeva.
She's really playing Martina's backhand perfectly.
The advantage of the left-handed player in a tie break, able to go into that ad court with a hook serve if she wants to.
She stays back.
Manuela Maleeva down 2 early breaks. Trailing 3-love, rallies, wins the tiebreak 8 points to 6. Wins the last 5 points of the tiebreak to win 8 points to 6 against Martina Navratilova, who made an uncharacteristic 27 unforced errors in that first set. Well, buoyed by her first ever set win against Navratilova, Maleeva carried it on into the second set. She broke Navratilova in the 3rd game, and now Manuela Maleeva is only 2 games away from the finals. Martina normally wins 65% of her serves, points on her serve. She's won just 47% today, and she's off in the first serve to open this 7th game.
And you notice she's going back to what she does best. Maybe you don't serve and come in on your first ball, but you come in on the second one or the third one. But Martina's got to get into the net.
Well, how hard is it now for Manuela? She has the winning lead. She's never won over this woman. Can she close it out?
Yes, she can. If, you know, she doesn't get develop a bad case of tennis elbow or choke, as they say, gag. All she has to do is what she's been doing the last couple games, because Martina's game has not picked up. Martina really sets this one up, so she's in trouble. She anticipates so well and makes this shot.
Hello again, Martina. She comes up for air every once in a while and shows us why she's been so great.
Oh, nice shot.
Navratilova, but she trails 4-3 in the second. Continues to out-hit Martina Navratilova, +1 in winners, and she's way ahead in the unforced error column, leading 4-3 in the second.
And a lot of those winners of Maleeva's have come on passing shots. It's not as if Manuela has stood at the baseline and just blasted winners from back there like Steffi Graf. That's not the case. She has passed Martina relentlessly at the net.
Oh, how Manuela loves to see the cheap point.
She's 6 points from victory.
And the most significant thing she's done in this match is improve her serve, because in the beginning of the match, it was not good. She had a very low first serve percentage.
She was over-serving, don't you think?
Yeah, she was going for it too much, but that's what Martina makes you do, because you get nervous.
So the unforced error is plus 17. Maleeva.
I was going to mention before she threw that one up there, she has lobbed well. And that's a change of pace. She just hasn't belted the ball from the baseline. She's mixed it up. She throws in 3 lobs, belts one down the line, drop shots. So that's kept Martina off balance and hasn't enabled her to get a rhythm, especially on her approach shots.
So from 30 love, 30-40, and Martina a break point away from 4-all in the second.
Martina has gone from being the aggressive serve and volleyer to the counter-puncher in this game.
Oh,
Hit the baseline. It's 4-all.
she put the ball on the baseline. She probably didn't need that good shot. It was a fine approach, and she was set to make the volley.
Fourth double fault.
That's a sign of nerves with Martina. The double faults, double faulted on the match point against Steffi Graf in the French Open final last year.
And yesterday against Reggie, 2 double faults on 2 game points for Reggie. She double faulted away.
Again, though, that was a point where Navratilova several times had a chance to come to the net and elected to stay back.
Must admit, that was a pretty greasy little volley by Maleeva. She was letting that ball drop and drop and drop.
She's not what you'd call a natural volleyer.
No, but she does well. She and her sister played together in doubles, and I think that's where she's developed a better volley.
And she's not been afraid to come up in this match. There's a topspin backhand.
It's wide.
Well.
She's hit a few, Bud.
Yeah, but you could count them on the foot of a three-toed sloth.
4-all, 30-all. Second set, Martina Navratilova lost the first set. In a tiebreak, 8 points to 6. Navratilova, 5-4. She's won the last 3 games of the second set. Martina Navratilova was 6 points away from defeat in the semifinal, has won the last 3 games. You can just sense, Bud Collins and Joanne Russell, that she's really tightening her game now.
Well, that last point of the previous game told you a lot. She had to have that game to go 5-4. She misses her first serve. She plays serve and volley on her second serve for the first time in this match and won the point.
Just out. Love 30. So it's now Navratilova 2 points away from the second set.
And she was even a little hesitant when she went to the net there. She was sort of looking first to see if her approach shot was in and then came in.
Ooh.
Great play by Navratilova.
Yeah, she's ungiving. Fought for that point and now has a triple set point. And we go to the third set. Navratilova wins the last 4 games of the second set and evens the match 6-7, 6-4. Navratilova down 4-2, wins the last 4 games of the second set, and you could feel the momentum building, and Navratilova, the champion that she is, snowballing Maleeva in the third set. She won the first 5 games of the third set before Maleeva held her serve. We pick up the action, 5-1 Navratilova.
Well, Martina had 3 streaks in danger. She'd won 18 straight matches this season, 13 straight in this tournament, and 3 in a row over Maleeva.
Yeah, she went back to that one-handed backhand slice.
Yeah.
Joanne.
She certainly did, and Martina tried a drop shot from the baseline. That's pretty cocky. When you're up 5-1, you go for things that normally are not the percentage play.
Serve and volley, but it's wide. Love 30.
And see, that's what happens. You make a careless mental error. You know, try and go for like a little fancy schmancy shot from the baseline. Think she's going to get a winner, and Maleeva steady, always in there.
Ooh, off the service line. First break point for Maleeva in this third set. She's a distance behind, trailing 5-1 in the third. That breaks Navratilova. Lends a little suspense. It's 5-2 in the third. Martina Navratilova in quest of still another pro championship and the $60,000 first prize money that will go with it tomorrow. Maleeva serving to try to extend this third set after winning the last two games.
Well, there's one of those rare topspin backhands. That took a lot of guts, because usually she gets a little nervous and she chip, 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 chip.
Live tomorrow for the finals, 2:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 on the coast.
Big point for Maleeva right here. And Martina, this time she works the ball around a little bit, uses that great deception, and she's ready for the drop shot back by Maleeva. That is great lobbing. Great lobbing by Maleeva.
Well, she had that terrific defensive lob in the last point, but Martina finally won it on the drop, and she saves the match with this one.
And look at this. Martina made a terrific volley really deep in the corner. And Martina's ball goes long.
Another match point, Navratilova. And the number 1 seed, Martina Navratilova, is through to tomorrow's finals after losing the opening set to Manuela Maleeva. 6-7, 6-4, 6-2.